Hey guys, welcome to a new Rants and PJ Pants. Last night I saw some things going on the Morphe Twitter page about the whole Jaclyn Hill, the Vault collaboration with Morphe. And I have some feelings about it, so I thought that I would share them with you. These are just my opinions. Feel free to leave all of your comments and everything, your opinions down below. I do read all of my comments, at least I try to. I'm slow at responding. Sometimes I'll read them and I don't have a chance to reply, but I do appreciate all feedback, positive and negative. So if you didn't know, the new Jaclyn Hill Morphe collaboration, The Vault, has been delayed. I find this pretty interesting because there's already been a pre-order, and because Jaclyn Hill did a meet and greet in Las Vegas for the opening of the Morphe store. If you went there and you won some kind of a raffle, you could meet her, but you could purchase the palette. And lots of people on social media talked about how she was not clear enough that you could win a chance to meet her. A lot of people thought that you could just show up and it was a regular meet and greet. She kind of made it also seem that way in her Snapchat. Like, she would be like, oh, I can't wait to meet all of you guys. You have to buy the palette, but never said, like, even if you buy the palette, you might not meet me, And a lot of people don't read the little teeny tiny fine print on websites, because it did say win a chance to meet her, but nobody really made that abundantly clear for obvious reasons. To sell the palette, to get people in the store. It's not like they just sell Jaclyn Hill. They want bodies in the store. They want it to be a big deal. They want it to be hyped up. They want you to buy stuff. Plain and simple. So I felt like when I saw that this palette release is going to be delayed now, I saw, some people expressing their concerns on Morphe's Twitter page, well, what about me? My friends and I traveled 3 hours to get the palettes, and if this is a bad batch issue, like, what are we gonna do? Somebody had tweeted that they already gave one away to somebody, and they were concerned that, since it's a bad batch, like, what should she do? The Morphe response was, hi, love, please contact Morphe customer service at blah, blah, blah. And that was the reply for each and every reply that there was. So, there you go. That's how much they give a shit about you. So, I found this all kind of interesting because, something similar like this happened when Jaclyn Hill collabed with Becca. People just hated the palette. They thought that everything was dry and patchy and chalky and just was not good. And they ended up discontinuing that palette and giving people refunds. In this case, it's a bad batch issue all over again. It's always a bad batch. And what I find about, like, this kind of thing is either it's a bad batch, and the bad batch reasoning is because there was something wrong with the way the shadows were pressed, because there's a million different ways to press a shadow, according to Jaclyn Hill, because of the factory. It was the factory. It was a quality control issue with the factory. The formula, if the factory fucked it up or something, or the formula wasn't what we intended it to be, and, there's always all this confusion and everything. And I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And what I feel like people should realize the most is that in Jaclyn Hill's, like, reveal video of this collection, she says that all of these shadows that are in these 4 palettes were shadows that were left over from her previous collaboration with Morphe, which means that these were formulas that they must have been familiar with. They liked them enough to put them in a whole bunch of palettes. I didn't believe that that's what this was, but I'm just, like, for her sake, if she's being honest, that these were leftover shadows, there shouldn't be an issue. There shouldn't be an issue at all. If it wasn't an issue to make them and they were so good that you wanted to put them into 4 separate palettes and do yet another Morphe collaboration, then come on. Like, you should have your shit together, in my opinion. I feel like this pre-order and this Las Vegas you know, moment to get this palette, and the few influencers that have it is almost just like a test run, because the influencers didn't really like it. She said, you know, we did the green as best as we could. You know, she talked about that shade in her reveal video like it was perfect, you know? And I think that sometimes people in the beauty community are very, very snobby when it comes to makeup. Like, I don't own a palette that I think is absolutely 100% perfect, with no kickback, no fallout, you know, nothing. I mean, there's always at least maybe one shadow that just kind of doesn't stand up to the rest, or maybe that you just don't care for as much, you know, or doesn't blend as well as others. But this looked really bad. Like it looked bad on these influencers. And so I feel like maybe she put it out there in this way to kind of test the waters. And then if it was starting to flop, pull that shit and redo it or whatever. I know that that would cost money and it would be time consuming. So maybe that's not it. But the way that it was, the pre-order, and the way that it was kind of like coming out before coming out is just kind of interesting to me. I don't think that it's a bad batch issue. I just think that, you know, your formula isn't as great as you said it was, and people are noticing. So now, when is it going to come out? I really don't think it's going to come out until maybe fall at like the earliest. I think there's going to keep being like, they're going to keep coming out with different excuses. Oh, now we have to use this other factory, and, you know, all this bullshit. Morphe is a huge company. Huge. They mass produce a bunch of shit, you know, and they work with all these influencers, sucking them dry in a sense. And there's no way that I think that they are going to give anybody a refund. I feel like they're saying, oh, contact customer service, whatever. But in Jaclyn Hill's own snap, she says, if you already pre-ordered the palette, contact, you know, Morphe customer service. If you bought the palette, if you pre-ordered it, she says like a second later, contact Morphe, they have a gift for you. So I'm thinking maybe they might try to replace some of these palettes with the new one, but when is that going to be? You know, I feel like people are going to end up getting so frustrated if they're like, hey, we'll give you like this voucher or something, and like, we know that you pre-ordered it or that you already have it, so we can send you out a replacement. But they don't know when those replacements are going to be in. So if they could get their money back, especially if they spent the $49, then they can buy something else and not have to wait until some unknown time when they can get a replacement. There's no way that Morphe's going to refund all of these people and lose money. I don't believe Jaclyn. And if you have this palette, one of these palettes, all these palettes, if you were in Vegas, how did shit go down? I want you guys to keep me posted. Send me Twitter DMs if you can, because I want to know what Morphe is going to offer you. I want to know how quickly they respond. I just want to know how they're going to handle this. I already don't like Morphe. And, you know, in Jaclyn's reveal video and in some of the influencer videos, you could see that the shadows were dry and patchy and not blending very well. That has been my experience with every Morphe shadow I've ever tried. So to me, I'm like, that's Morphe. That seems like Morphe to me. You know what I mean? I did get to dabble into the last collab that Jaclyn Hill did with Morphe. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, I have a ton of BH kind of shit that is way better. I'm just saying, if you love Morphe, if you love Jaclyn, I totally understand, and I feel bad for you guys, especially if you bought the palette or if you were like saving up money to get it. This is kind of ridiculous, and I feel like this is kind of a pattern with her. How can you be working on something for so long and have all of these shadows that are just so perfect, and it was so hard for you to choose which ones to put in that 38 pan palette, but now they're fucked? You know what I mean? It it just seems a little fishy to me anyway. I care about the people that already bought this, and if they're going to get a refund or a replacement. That's why I wanted you guys to let me know if you have an experience, you know, contacting them. Like, what is this gift that they're going to offer you? I think that Jaclyn was very careful to not say, Morphe is going to give everybody that has this palette right now a replacement palette or refund you, or, you know, give your money back if you pre-ordered it. I mean, she was pretty careful to not say that. She did say that they would be losing millions of dollars, but that's because they already produced all of these palettes. You know what I mean? It wasn't about, like, refunding people. And it's a common thing with Morphe, too. I mean, I know some people like Manny MUA think that if you don't like Morphe shadows, then you don't know how to do makeup. But, you know, they're eyeshadows. There's nothing special about them. That's why they're cheap. I find them to be dry and patchy almost all of the time. You know, I may come across a shimmer here and there. You know, I have friends that get Morphe stuff, you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, test that color out. But all in all, it's a brand that's just so overhyped that is just not worth it. And I feel like, you know, we're just tired of Morphe. We're just tired of you. And this is just another thing to add on to it, you know? And I mean, there is like an issue of the packaging because of the collaboration Jaclyn Hill did with Becca. The packaging is super similar to the packaging for this collaboration with Morphe. Now, I don't know because I haven't been able to find out like really legitimate information. But if Jaclyn Hill had a say and collaborated on that design, I don't know if Becca has a case or if they're going to even pursue one. Some people say that that's actually why this palette is going to be delayed. And could you imagine if this ends up coming out in like September or October and people have waited and they want the replacements or whatever they're going to do, and it's the same shit. It's the same goddamn shit, but with new packaging. Because if that's the case, then we will know for sure, you know, what's going on here. I don't trust Jaclyn. I think that she, you know, she has so many excuses for everything. It's never her. It's never the company. It's everybody else that's involved. And I feel like, you know, if she honestly had these shadows left over, then they should be perfectly fine. And if a few of them aren't, just own it and be like, hey, you know, just like she said on Twitter, we did the best that we could with that green. Well, we did the best that we could with it, you know. But I feel like, I don't know, I just don't believe her. I just don't trust her. I'm sorry if you guys are super hardcore Jaclyn Hill fans. I just don't trust her. I don't trust Morphe as a company. I just think this whole thing smells quite fishy to me. So you guys let me know what you think down below. Definitely follow me on Twitter if you want to. And keep me posted if you're one of those people that purchased this palette or pre-ordered it. Let me know about this gift they're giving you. I'm very curious to see what happens. So I'm going to be following this story like super closely because when influencers come out with brands or do collaborations, people are usually very much like harsher towards them, and I totally get why. And I feel like in some way I like want to cut her some slack, but her attitude and her ego prevents me from doing that. And I just, it's also interesting to me that just because you know how to do makeup, you are collaborating with brands or starting your own brands. She still hasn't had her release at all, you know, for the Jaclyn Hill cosmetics. So I don't know what is going to be going on with this whole thing, but keep me posted if you're involved in any of this. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Love and hugs. Bye.